we'll start off with the big topic here, the topic that's aggravated me for about a month right now. I'm going to try to not show how livid I am about this. Dom and Joe keep their cool on this topic. I got to unleash. I've been denied. Rights over here. HBO Max and Peacock are the two new streaming services. Peacock just launched a couple days ago. And I know I'm not too familiar with Peacock. I know that there's different tiers. You can subscribe for free and get access to some content with a boatload of ads. I think the price point's like $14.99 a month. I believe that's what it is. That's NBC Universal's streaming service. And then HBO Max, we talked about it on the show. I don't think it needs no introduction, but it's going to be one of two HBO streaming services as of the beginning of August because HBO Go is leaving. HBO Now will stay, though. We already got a video talking about the differences and how it's unbelievably confusing. But Julia Alexander, got to give her a shout out at The Verge, who wrote an excellent article talking about why HBO Max and why Peacock are not on Roku or Amazon Fire. It was a glaring omission. It was an omission I didn't see coming until the launch day of HBO Max. I got up, got my coffee, I went to my Roku television, I looked up HBO Max, couldn't find it. And then I went over to Twitter the day that HBO Max launched, and I'm like, why is HBO Max Roku trending? This is not good. And it's not on there. You can look high and low. It ain't on there, and it's also not on Amazon. Same thing with Peacock. Not on Roku, not on Amazon. Now, you might be wondering the reason. And I got to be honest, I didn't dig a whole ton deep into it other than I know that they hadn't signed an agreement. But I thought about it over the last couple of weeks. I'm like, why the hell haven't they contracted with two of the biggest streaming titans in the game? Roku owns 44% of the streaming market. Amazon owns 19%. So they're both big players. They're both enormous players. Why are they not on these streaming services? Well, like every great thing in this country, it comes down to money. And that's what it's about. NBC Universal is owned by Comcast. Warner Media is owned by AT&T. Warner Media, the owner of HBO Max. They want to be able to advertise their shows and content during the ad breaks that usually start and interrupt the show you're streaming. Roku takes 20% of sign-up fees from the streaming services. They, too, take a percent of what they call ad inventory, which means they take a percentage of ads shown through the app. The beef here is that NBC and Warner want around 15% of the take for Roku. They don't want the usual 20%. And NBC has also built a new form of ad tech for Peacock for targeted ads and a revenue increase for themselves. It's kind of similar, and Dom, I want you to chime in on this after this. It's kind of similar to cable blackouts. And anybody who's had DirecTV satellite dish knows what I mean. I know they're prevalent with Dish Network and other, cable subscribers. My parents have DirecTV. They've had it since the 90s. I always remember as a kid being pissed off because DirecTV always seemed to be fighting with somebody, even to this day. Like, I remember one time, it was a few years ago, they got in a big argument with Viacom. Every Viacom network was blocked. That's Nickelodeon, that's MTV, that's BET. They got in a dispute with WGN. If you're a Chicagoan, you know WGN. You couldn't watch WGN for about over a couple months on DirecTV. You couldn't watch CBS at a time. They beef with everybody. And all it does is handicap the user. 100%. All they do is handicap the user. That's all they do, the consumer. The consumer's the one that hurts. Now, Roku and Amazon technically have the upper hand here, being such sizable players in the fertile landscape of streaming. But at the same time, these two apps are not available on Roku and Amazon. Dominic, your thoughts on this urgent matter?
It's hard for me to pick sides here other than just like screw you all, because it's kind of like the Spider-Man fiasco between Disney and Sony, where it's like, yeah, this is kind of just billion-dollar corporations hashing it out over us. But it just sucks because this is the free market at work, This is all that at work. But really, but my concerns are more grounded, which is, can I watch The Good Place? Can I watch 30 Rock? Because I need to rewatch that and see if it holds up. Apparently it does, but I need to be the judge of that. I remember growing up on it and most of the jokes going over my head. But that's really what it more comes down to. Looking at the article here, and this is actually a really good article. My first thought is, and pardon me again, I'm on the controls here. That's why you see me, guys. I have all my monitors like a real pro, like a pro gamer. But I looked at, took a swipe at this Forbes article, separate article, but it does go into Roku's with Jeff Bezos in the on the top corner there with a big old hearty laugh. But Roku's revenues and kind of how it goes into, not to throw another article at you, sorry, Steve, but
you're good.
That goes into what Roku's intake is on all these things, and it's going up. Obviously because of I think these are projected. When did this article come out? This article came out. Yeah, so it came out December. So these are projected profits, and it was before coronavirus, before everyone was latched onto streaming for dear life for some sense of sanity. It was still projected to keep on going up. So it's not like, oh geez, what was that one service where it was, it was gonna tank no matter what, either service or some sort of platform. But then suddenly saved by the onset of coronavirus. Funny enough, but no, Roku had already been projected to go up, so it's fighting to maintain its momentum as Amazon ups its game, Google ups its game, and the subsidiary YouTube ups its game, Twitch. Everyone is just upping their game, and it's a matter of, to me, how I see it in terms of how this goes on a pure numbers level is how high can they jump? How far can they jump here? So Roku, obviously having millions of dollars, can jump pretty far. But dude, that Jeff Bezos money, also that Google money in the other corner, ready to pounce on you as well. We were talking about this earlier or many weeks ago with the AMC possible acquisition where, dude, I know AMC is like a million dollar company, but if they falter, that means Jeff Bezos has the chance to like elbow his way in here and swipe up yet another $100 million company. And next thing you know, that's another thing that's Amazon based. That's another thing that's Google based. That's another thing that's X and X based. And next thing you know, you only got like a dozen or so companies controlling your life. And I know I'm expanding the scope of this greatly, but honestly, it all comes back to it. And that's not to say I have deep sympathies for AMC, which is like, you got your own problems. And Roku here, I don't know too much either. I've been a little dissatisfied with Roku recently because I think that's more my fault because I have the small little pill one that you latch on to. I need to get one.
You have an older model.
I have an older model. So if anything, I need to upgrade. That's more my fault. But really, that's the big question here is that where it lands, I have no clue. That's all backdoor dealing. That's all high-level stuff way beyond us. And we could speculate for an hour, but where that lands, I don't really know. But it's just, I think it's important to keep in perspective is how far these entities, how far these athletes have to jump, right? If we're talking like in the Olympics here, right? How far do these companies have to really reach out if they get into trouble? If Roku gets into trouble, if they start losing deals left and right, they may not have as much when you consider that their competitors are Amazon and Google and I think those are the two big ones. I'm sure I'm missing some other huge one as well, but that's where I land is how far do they have to jump? So.
No, and it's true. And the scariest part for, I think, Roku and Amazon, even though I still think they have a significant upper hand here, is if Peacock and HBO Max continue to do well and can survive on their own, sans the help of Roku and Amazon, what's that going to mean for future streaming services? What's that going to tell them? But at the same time, I revert my own argument by saying I rebuke my own argument by going to the fact that, like, there's a ceiling, though. Not having two of the biggest platforms. There's a ceiling that's going to handicap your subscribers. And the other thing they're doing, too, there's a couple more quick points I just want to bring up on this. HBO Go's done and at the end of the month. It's gone. And that sucks for people like you and I who have HBO logins based on our parents or whoever's subscription over here. You know what I mean? I'm not getting mom and dad's silver spoon no more over here with my HBO consumption. And it sucks too because this is just another thing. You brought up 30 Rock and The Good Place and the shows you can't watch. South Park just left Hulu. South Park just left Hulu and it's on HBO Max now. Missing 5 episodes, but that's neither here nor there. And I'll tell you, here's to the extent that these sneaky bastards did this too. Listen to this. You can add on different different premium channels on Hulu. You can add Stars, Showtime, Cinemax, I believe, and HBO Max. Now, what I thought I'd get Slick Rick over here a couple weeks ago. I thought I could log in with HBO Max on Hulu. I thought I could do that. I thought if I were to go to like fake sign up for HBO Max, just put in my login, I would bypass it and be able to have HBO Max's library on my television, because that's what it's about. I don't like watching stuff on my laptop. I don't like watching stuff on my phone. So I went on there. You can't do it, though. Both have HBO Max subscriptions based on our cable subscriptions, but we cannot access it on a television. They blocked that. You have to buy it on Hulu. You can't just input your login. So that was a good handicap, though. I thought I was going to find a life hack over here and have to make a cell phone video, a vertical cell phone video showing people the ways of the world. But unfortunately, my plan was foiled. Get the damn thing resolved, though, because it's infuriating not being able to watch, especially HBO Max. I'm not really too concerned with Peacock. I'm probably not going to get it. But HBO Max, though, I make no quibbles about this, probably has the best, most diverse catalog of streaming services, of any streaming service. It has a ton of classics because it has Turner Classic Movies on there. Mm-hmm. And that's an important thing, too. Streaming services are so hyper current the last 10, 15 years. There's so much older stuff that's inaccessible on streaming or it's not behind a paywall. The fact that, I'll end with this, the fact that HBO Max probably has the most diverse and decorated streaming catalog of all the streaming services out there, but you cannot watch it on a television. That's a joke only a year as crappy as 2020 could play.